Have you ever looked at your family and wondered, why? Why them? Or maybe you met someone and felt a connection so instantaneous, so deep, that it seemed to transcend this life. A familiarity that logic cannot explain. And in the same way, have you ever felt an inexplicable repulsion for another person for no apparent reason? What if I told you that none of this is an accident? That it is not chance, nor luck, nor chaos that weaves the most important relationships in your life? What if behind every hug, every conflict, every love, and every loss, there was an agreement, a sacred contract signed by your own soul before you even take your first breath? The truth that few know is that the choice of your family, your partner, and even your most painful challenges was not imposed on you. It was a conscious choice of its essence. In this video, we're not just going to explore theories. We are going to pull back the curtain on the veil that separates the physical world from the spiritual. At the end of these next few minutes, the promise is not only of knowledge, but of transformation. You will be given a key to decipher the map of your own soul, to understand the why behind your connections, and most importantly, to begin to heal and harmonize those relationships from a completely new level of consciousness. Stay with me, because the journey to understand the cosmic script of your life begins now. Let me tell you Clara's story. To the world, Clara had an ordinary life, but inside she carried a lingering sense of not belonging. Since she was a child, she loved her family, but she felt like a piece of a different puzzle. Their interests were practical, hers ethereal. The conversations revolved around the material, while his mind wandered to the stars. She felt like a stranger in her own home, a love that existed but didn't seem to understand her deeper language. In their love relationships, a painful pattern was repeated. She fell intensely in love with partners who, in some way, always ended up mirroring this same dynamic, a promise of deep connection that, over time, revealed itself to be superficial, leaving her with the same feeling of loneliness and incomprehension. One night, after another breakup that seemed like an echo of the previous ones, Clara looked at herself in the mirror, and the question that emerged did not come from her mind, but from the bottom of her soul. Why do I keep choosing this? What is my soul trying to tell me through this pain? That trigger, that question born of emotional exhaustion, was your awakening. That moment when the pain becomes so great that it forces us to look upwards, inward, for answers that the outside world cannot provide. Clara's story is the story of many souls who, at a certain point in their journey, realize that the patterns in their lives are not punishments, but invitations. Invitations to remember a bigger plan, a plan that she herself helped to design. Clara's journey leads us to a fundamental question: where and how are these plans made? Many spiritual traditions speak of an intermediate state, a plane of existence between one life and another. Call it the astral plane, the spirit world, or simply the home of the soul. In this realm of pure consciousness, free from the limitations of the human body and ego, the soul takes stock of its journey. She reviews the lessons learned, the wounds that still need healing, and the virtues she wants to improve. It is here that the soul becomes the architect of its next incarnation. With the help of spirit guides or mentors, she analyzes what experiences will be necessary for her next evolutionary step. And the most powerful tool for this evolution is relationships. The soul knows that growth does not happen in a vacuum. It happens in the interaction, in the friction, in the reflection we see of ourselves in the eyes of others. But here's a crucial point. The soul doesn't just choose the easy and happy experiences. Brave souls focused on accelerated growth can choose considerable challenges. They may choose to be born into a family that will test their limits of patience and forgiveness. They can strike an agreement with another soul to live an intense and transformative relationship, even if it ends in pain. Why? because the soul knows that pressure generates the diamond, and there are different types of soul contracts, each with a specific purpose, from the partners who come to support us to those who come to shake us up. And understanding the difference between them is fundamental. This notion of prenatal planning is not new. It echoes across millennia and cultures. In the Vedic texts of ancient India, the concept of karma suggests that our current conditions are a direct result of past actions and intentions, implying a continuum of cause and effect that transcends a single lifetime. Plato, in the Republic, describes the myth of air, where souls, before reincarnating, choose their next lives, their destinies, and the challenges they will face, drinking after the river of oblivion so that the plan does not interfere with free will. Past life regression therapists, such as Dr. Michael Newton, have documented thousands of cases of individuals under deep hypnosis who recount in stunning detail the same process. A life review, a meeting with a council of elders, and the meticulous choice of the next incarnation. The insider knowledge, the exclusive knowledge that these reports reveal, is that souls group together. There are soul groups or soul families that tend to reincarnate together, switching roles life after life. Your brother in this life may have been your father in another, your mother, your best friend. The partner who broke your heart may be a dear soulmate, fulfilling a difficult but necessary role that you both agreed to play for mutual healing. The secret, therefore, is not in judging the role that the person plays, but in recognizing the soul behind the mask. If our souls choose all of this, then how do we differentiate between contracts? How do we know if a difficult relationship is an agreement for growth or simply a toxic connection that we should walk away from? The answer lies in the underlying energy and purpose. There are basically two types of souls that we find to fulfill these contracts: the support souls and the catalyzing souls. Support souls are those who bring comfort, stability, and unconditional love. They are our safe haven, reminding us of who we are. But the catalyzing souls, these are different. They come into our lives like a hurricane. The connection is intense, magnetic, often chaotic. They mirror our deepest shadows, trigger our most sensitive triggers, and often the relationship ends abruptly and painfully. The human tendency is to label this person as the villain of our story. But from a soul perspective, that person was the catalyst. It came to break down the old and stagnant structures of your life, forcing a transformation that you would not make on your own. The pain they cause is not the goal, it is the tool for your awakening. But here lies the great enigma. What happens when the contract with a catalyst ends? The mission has been accomplished, but human pain remains. And what happens when we mistake a catalyst for a partner for life? How does the soul signal to us that it is time to move on? Understanding this spiritual architecture behind our relationships has an immense psychological and healing benefit. First, it removes the burden of victimization. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" This change in perspective gives you back the power. You stop being a boat adrift in the ocean of life and become the captain who, even in the midst of the storm, remembers that you helped draw the map of the trip. Second, this view cultivates a deep sense of compassion and forgiveness. The person who hurt you the most may be the soul who loved you the most, to the point of accepting the thankless role of villain to ensure your growth. Forgiving it ceases to be an act of erasing the wrong and becomes an act of acknowledging the depth of the soul's agreement. Remember Clara? With this new awareness, she looked at her family no longer with a sense of strangeness, but with a quiet gratitude. She understood that their practicality was the firm soil that allowed her ethereal roots to seek the sky. They taught her how to live in the world so that she could dream of others. And the ex-partner, the catalyst. Anger gave way to understanding. He didn't break her heart. He broke the cage where her heart was trapped. This understanding did not erase the pain, but gave it a sacred purpose, transforming its scars into portals of wisdom. The soul chooses the family, the soul chooses the partner, the stage is set, the script is written. But then we enter the scene and the veil of oblivion falls, and here lies the ultimate mystery: free will. The plan exists, but the choices we make each day determine how we navigate it. We can learn the lesson with love and awareness, or through pain and resistance. Is the soul contract a destination or a starting point? And what happens when we refuse to keep our end of the bargain? We have only scratched the surface of the cosmic tapestry. The choice of family and partner is only the first and most fundamental chapter of your soul's journey in this life. But what about the other chapters? What about the unique talents and gifts that your soul has chosen to bring? What about the geographical places to which we are drawn, which are also part of a spiritual contract? Each of these choices is a thread of light that makes up your greater purpose. And among all contracts, there is one that is the rarest, the most intense, and the most misunderstood of all. An agreement that is not about karmic learning, but about a joint mission. In our next meeting, we will dive deep into the mystery of the twin flames. Why they meet, what their true mission on Earth is, and why their connection is considered the most powerful and transformative in the universe. Subscribe and turn on notifications, as the reveal is just beginning.